tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah. Well, she said, brought tomorrow, she said, just tomorrow. Will you need any additional jurors brought in for tomorrow for continuing with it?
Honestly, right now it's so hard to tell. How many do we have right now? How many did we bring in?
We've lost 8.
We lost 8, and how many did we have?
60.
We're down to 52. We lost another 10.
According to this,
Yeah, we'll need 10
That's
more.
10 more?
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah, I want some.
Okay. All right, we're back on the record in C340075, State of Nevada versus Raymond Davis. Mr. Davis is present with Mr. Klaus as his standby counsel, and his standby counsel, Mr. Klaus, Augustus, and Stacey Collins for the state. All right, so go ahead, Raymond.
yeah, I got a question before we come back in.
Okay.
I want to challenge the whole jury, the makeup of this jury pool. I want to challenge this jury pool based on the lack of African American males, based on none of these, seems none of these juries, even the black ones, have anything to do with me. They're not from my community. These are not from my communities. These jurors all seem well-to-do with great jobs. They got great family backgrounds. I'm from the ghetto. I mean, we got, none of these people have claimed that they've been a victim of any kind of violent crimes or anything like that. This is like a fairy tale jury that I never saw before. It's like all these people are perfect. I want to challenge the jury pool. I'm a black African-American male that's 52, that's been charged with crimes of sex and stuff like that. And I don't see any similar, I haven't seen one person in this pool, on this pool that has any similarities, I'm not saying my crime or whatever, but to who I am or my peer. I mean, I wouldn't hang out with any of them. So how could they be my peer?
But you're not entitled to a jury that you would hang out with.
I want a jury my peer.
How many African Americans are there on this prospective panel?
I see 2 guys. I see two guys, and they're both, I mean, 2 out of 50. I mean, that's 2 black guys out of 50. That's 1 in 25. I'm a black man.
Okay, and how many black females?
I saw about 3. But this is a crime against a female, so, you know, that, the jury pool is not, this is not a good jury pool. 2 out of 25, 2 to 25, 1 in 25 is black, and a black man is on trial. You know, I know the judicial system like this, you know, but I cannot get a fair trial with this jury.
May I, Your Honor? I've gone through the jury panel list provided to us by the court. I have the race indicated line indicates there are 14 African Americans on this panel. 1 African American male left, because as the court recalls, he had a cancer diagnosis, and we released him by agreement of the defendant. So there are 14 African Americans. He's not entitled to similarly situated African American males that have been charged with sex offenses. He's permitted to have a jury of his pools, right, or of his peers, excuse me. Right now, almost 25% of this panel is African American, save and except the 1 gentleman that left. So now we're down to 13. So he's not entitled to specifically male or females. He's just entitled to a jury of his peers. So I did the math when he says, I don't know, whatever his number was, 7, that's inaccurate based on what I'm looking at in what came from the jury commissioner.
So I think what we're getting confused at, Mr. Davis, is your, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I'm hearing from you, it's not necessarily that you're arguing that there's not enough African Americans. It's that there's not enough African Americans that you would consider from what you're referring to as your community, your peers.
Yes, my community, my peers. Your Honor, you guys don't know the black community. You guys can't speak on it. You don't know what goes on in the black community. These people that they have talked to, they are not part of the black community.
But you're not entitled to the black community.
Okay, I'm saying what's one, if you talk about 2 black males out of 50, and, just the jury pool makeup, this jury, I never saw a jury like this. I've been to a lot of trials.
How many trials have you been to?
I was gonna be, once upon a time in my life, I wanted to be an attorney, and I basically, when I lived in LA, I would have a lot of time on my hands, so I would go down there and listen to jury trial. I used to enjoy that, and if I didn't become a professional world-class poker player, I would have loved to have been an attorney. But what's happening in this court is happening around America. Blacks are not getting fair treatment, and I'm not a racist. I love white people. I grew up in foster home. From the time I was 3 until I was 14, I was raised by white people. I love white people. My best friends that's going to come here, they're all white. I don't hang around. I don't have a bunch of black people I hang around.
You just said that black people are your community.
I said yes. My community, okay, but I don't hang out with my neighbors. I don't hang out with my neighbors. So what's happening here is what's happening in America, and this just shows that where the system is messed up, where a black man can't get a decent jury pool because it's only 2 blacks on the jury pool.
There's 14 African Americans in this panel.
Your Honor.
They put it in here. If you look, it says African American. 14 of these individuals identify
It's
themselves.
14.
Yeah. Read
Okay,
what's in front of you.
Okay, it's 14.
14.
After she removes 9 of them, that means it's going to be 14, remove 9. I'll have 5 blacks on the whole jury pool with Kutu, and I'm sure she'll get rid of them.
Who? Miss Collins?
Yes.
You're saying she's going to use all of her peremptories on black people?
Yes, I'm saying she's a racist. I'm saying right in this court that she's a racist. On record, that she's a racist.
You're saying that she's a racist
I'm saying
because what?
I'm saying the DA is a racist. I went over her record. All her prosecutions have been against black African American males. I Googled it. I researched it. I found it. Don't think I didn't do my homework. I did. I'm saying this DA is a racist.
Time out. You're telling me that every single person Miss Collins has prosecuted has been a black male.
I didn't say every single male.
Oh, but you said every. You said every person.
A lot of them.
No, that's not what you said.
I guarantee you, if you look at her record, she prosecuted mostly black males.
Okay.
She is a racist.
Okay,
A
the one
racist
thing
DA.
you...
And a dirty
No,
one.
I'm done listening because this is crazy what is happening right now. What you fail to understand is Miss Collins does not get to pick who she prosecutes. The cases are assigned to her. The cases come in and a team chief who is not her assigns to the deputies which cases they have. It's not like she gets to go into a folder and be like, oh, I want him, I want her, I want him, I want her. That's not how this works, okay? So you don't get to come in here and say that she's a racist, that you're not going to get a fair trial because there's only 2 black people on this jury. That's not true. There are 14 African American individuals on this panel. If you are challenging how the jury commissioner picks their juries and gets these numbers, I am happy to have the most recent testimony by the jury commissioner marked as an exhibit to go along with your objection that you feel like this is not a cross-section of your personal, what you're saying, community from the hood. Would you like me to mark that as an exhibit?
Your Honor.
Yes or no?
No. Your Honor, I know how the DA picks up cases.
You don't?
Yes, I do. I knew before when you were saying, I knew it already. I know that they're not selected. Supposedly, they don't look at the case and say, oh, I'll take this one. I know it's supposed to be, I just got this case.
Right.
But when you look at this case, how every motion I have had, even Craig Mueller and his associate, every motion I have had in front of you has been denied. every motion DA Stacy Collins has had in front of you has been successful.
Okay, and do you?
That, to me, is, oh, go ahead,
So I don't even know what you're talking about, what motion you're making right now. If you would like to be heard on a motion, or you have representation to make, go ahead. Otherwise, we have a jury waiting.
Your Honor, I'm not making a motion. I'm just saying that I don't think this is fair. I don't think that I'm getting the same treatment of the court that the DA just, Stacy Collins is getting.
She hasn't even made a motion today.
No, I'm not talking about a motion today. I know for a fact that all my motions are getting rejected. That's why I put
So
them in.
you are
because I
not
wanna take this
making
out.
legal motions.
Okay.
Let me tell you what's not fair. The fact that I have allowed you to admit almost 20 motions is not fair to the state. Because what the rules say is you were supposed to file those motions 10 days before this trial started. Yet I have completely ignored those rules for you, so you can have those motions heard. Okay? So if anyone's not getting fair treatment, it's the state, because they should have 5 days to respond in writing to each one of those motions. So you have raised the issue of whether or not you feel like this is a cross-section of your community. I am happy to mark as an exhibit the jury commissioner's recent testimony on how these individuals are brought in. You have declined my offer to do that. So your motion is denied. If at any time you would like that testimony marked as an exhibit, I'm happy to do it to go along with your objection. Other than that, bring in the jury. They're not going to wait anymore.
Also, Your Honor, and Warrior Dior, I would like my chance to question each prospective juror also, not just the state or Your Honor.
You're going to get your opportunity to speak to the jurors.
Okay.
I go first, then Ms. Collins goes, and you go.
Okay, I just want to speak to each of them individually,
No, that's not how we do it.
so I don't have it.
All rise for the entrance of the prospective jury. All members of the prospective jury are present.
Thank you. We're back on the record in C340075, State of Nevada versus Raymond Davis. He's present with standby counsel, Mr. Klaus. Ms. Collins, Chief Deputy District Attorney of the Clark County District Attorney's Office, is present. Do both sides stipulate to the presence of the prospective jury panel?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so the next few questions. to, I apologize, just one second. So these questions are for, and it's 452, I think it's Obershelf, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yes, Rohan. Yes, and I think it's Narconsi. Either? Okay, great. So, my law clerk pointed out to me that when I was asking some questions, I forgot to ask the three of you a few of the specific questions, so just give me a second. Alright, so just for the three of you, it was, the question about having any, philosophical, religious, or any type of belief that you feel would prevent you from being fair. Do any of the three of you have any answer to that question? Showing no response. The question I asked about whether or not you'd ever been, had a contact with law enforcement that you would consider to be negative, where you weren't treated with the dignity and respect that you thought you should have been treated with. Showing no response. Did all three of you hear what I was talking about, how jurors are allowed to ask questions? And did any of you take issue or think you might take issue if your question wasn't asked? Showing no response. And under our system, certain principles apply in every criminal trial. That is that the charging document is just a charging document. It is not evidence of guilt in any way. It's merely an accusation. That the defendant is presumed innocent, and that the state must prove the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do any of the three of you have any issues with those three principles of our criminal justice system? Showing no response. Okay, thank you. Lastly, is there any of you or any one of you that would have any trouble following the law or following the instructions that I give to the jury at the end of the case, even if you disagreed with that law personally? Showing no response. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's start back up. Your name and badge number, please.
Steve Cole, 369.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Cole. How long have you lived in Clark County?
About 25 years.
And how far did you go in school?
12th grade, then military police school after that.
All right, and are you employed?
I am
How are you employed?
sales manager for Best Mattress Company.
How long were you in the military police for?
4 years.
And married, single, divorced?
Married.
And what does your spouse do?
She's a dispatcher at the Cosmopolitan.
Any children?
3,
And their ages and gender, please.
29 female, 25 female, and 19 male.
Any of them employed full-time?
They're all employed
Okay.
full-time.
And what do they do?
My oldest daughter works for Allegiant. My middle daughter works for Samstown, and my son is currently serving in the Air Force.
Do any of your children have children?
My oldest daughter has 2.
And their gender and age, please.
Female, and she's 7, and male, and he's 3.
Thank you. You or anyone close to you ever been the victim of a crime, including crimes of sexual or physical abuse?
I had a cousin,
And what crime were they a victim of?
sexual assault,
Where in the country was that?
Southern California.
And was this when they were a child or as an adult?
Child,
Was it by a stranger or someone they knew?
someone they knew.
Did they alert like their parents or
They did. It was an older stepbrother.
that lived in the house?
Yeah.
Was that matter, like, were the police called? Was it litigated through the criminal justice system?
It was. They had to basically get divorced and separate the kids from him.
Did it go throughout the court system?
It
Well,
did.
let me ask this. Was the stepbrother a minor at the time he committed the offense?
He was.
Is there anything about that situation that you feel would keep you or prevent you from being fair and impartial?
I don't believe so.
Was this something that happened one time, or did it happen over a period of time and the child didn't come forward till later?
To the best of my knowledge, I'm not sure if it happened prior, but it got found out. That's all kind of I know in regards to that.
Thank you. Any other instances of individuals who are victims? You or any close?
Same person, just like I say, a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol, and in his 30s ended up impregnating a 15-year-old. So
Would you, so I know that that was an older stepbrother, so are you related by blood to that individual, or is it through the marriage?
technically, he's adopted, so I wouldn't say necessarily by blood, but
Okay. Do you have a relationship with him?
he died of a drug overdose some years back.
Okay. Anything about him, the way he was treated, what he did to others that you feel would impact you either way?
I just feel like he did some time for drugs and robberies and stuff like that, but I don't feel he never did any time for the sexual assault things.
Okay. Could you separate what he did from what's happening in this courtroom though?
I believe so.
Okay. And in regards to being accused of a crime, obviously we know the individual that you're just talking about. Anybody else that you know has been accused of crime?
No,
Ever been a juror before?
I have.
Tell me about that. Where was it?
It was here in Clark County,
How long ago?
probably close to 11, 12 years ago maybe. It was a long one, over 30 days, so.
Criminal or civil?
Civil,
Did the jury reach a verdict?
they did.
And were you the foreperson?
I was not.
Anything about that situation that you feel would impair or affect you here?
No, but it was a long way to go to be an alternate. That kind of stunk.
I'm sorry. Anything about the nature of this case or anything you've heard thus far that you feel would prevent you from being fair?
Don't believe so.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that's presented in this case, what you see in here, and wait and form your decision or your opinion until the matter is ultimately submitted to you with your fellow jurors?
Yes.
All right, thank you, I appreciate that. Name and badge number, please.
Jessica Brown, 443.
How long have you been in Clark County?
10 years?
Are you employed?
No, I'm a homemaker. I have autoimmune medical issues, so I don't work.
Okay. And how far did you go in school?
2 years of college.
What were you studying at the time?
Medical healthcare administration.
Are you married, single?
Married.
And what does your spouse do?
He is a IT security officer for NDOT
Do
for
you-
the state.
All right, thank you. Any children?
No.
You or anyone close to you ever been the victim of a crime, including crimes of sexual abuse?
No.
What about, same question, but in regards to accused?
No.
Have you ever been a juror before?
No.
Anything about the nature of this case that you feel may impact you or affect you in any way, prevent you from being fair?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that is presented to you and wait in forming your opinion until the matter is submitted to you with your fellow jurors?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Brown, I appreciate it. Back to you, Mark.
I'm Karen Gillard, badge 373,
How long have you been in Clark County?
21 years.
How far did you go in school?
I have a Bachelor of Science in college.
And are you employed?
I'm currently in transition to another occupation.
Okay, what's the transition?
I was formerly a director of catering sales for a hotel, and I'm transitioning into destination management work.
Okay. Married, single,
Married.
and what does your spouse do?
He is an executive banquet chef at a hotel.
Any children?
No.
Ever been the victim of a crime, including crimes of sexual abuse?
I believe an attempt was made by my stepfather on myself when I was very young.
Okay. One time or more than one time?
One time, but I think I made it clear. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I think I made it clear, and then it was just very on guard the remaining years of being in the same house.
How old were you when that happened?
About 10.
Did you tell your mom?
Yes.
Did your mom take any action? Or
No.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes.
Do you feel like anything was ever made and attempted on them?
No, it's a brother, older.
Besides telling your mom, did you tell anyone else?
Yes, I've told my brother, who is now the father of 2 teenagers who was around my stepfather, or 2 young girls that's around my stepfather.
And I apologize, I should have said when you were little. Like, did you tell anyone else besides your mom
No, I really wasn't sure
what was going on?
what was going on. I just knew it wasn't right.
Anything about that, like what you went through as a child, that you feel would impact you here?
I'm very on guard and suspicious. I watch my nieces when they're around my stepfather. So, yes.
Okay. So, and I'm sure you've heard me kind of couch it this way with a couple of the other jurors who had some of the same concerns, is will you be able to only consider what's presented in these 4 walls? So obviously it's completely appropriate and for you to be suspicious and watch your stepfather around your nieces, right? Because you feel like, hey, I know what he's capable of. But as Mr. Davis sits here right now, he is innocent. And it's up to the jurors to listen to the testimony and look at the evidence and only base their decision on what they hear and see here. Is that something you can do?
Yes.
Any other instances, you or anyone close to you, about being a victim?
No.
What about the same question in regards to being accused, though?
No.
Ever been a juror before?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Where was it and how long ago?
Clark County, and it feels like 18 months ago. Probably more like 2 years.
Okay. And was it criminal or civil?
It was criminal.
What were the charges? What type of
Sexual molestation of a minor under 14.
And without telling me the verdict, was a verdict reached?
Yes.
Were you the foreperson?
No.
Have you been a juror any other times?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that is presented and wait in forming your decision and your opinion until the matter is ultimately submitted to you with your other jurors?
Yes.
Other than what we've discussed, is there anything about the nature of this case that makes you feel you wouldn't be able to be fair or impartial?
No.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it. Is it Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hayes, badge number 375. How long have
Yes.
you been in Clark County?
27 years.
And how far did you go in school?
High school.
Are you employed?
Yes.
What do you do?
Southwest Airlines.
And what do you do for Southwest?
I stock the planes with the food and drinks.
Married, single,
Engaged.
engaged? And what does your soon-to-be spouse do?
She's a CO for Metro.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about
Yeah.
that. Sorry about that, thank you. Any children?
Yes. All together or just biological?
All together.
5. All girls. 24, 22, 12, 8, and 7.
And anybody full-time employed?
Yes. The 24-year-old is Starbucks and the 22-year-old is a flight attendant for Southwest.
Okay. In regards to the crime questions I've been asking, you or anyone close to you been the victim of a crime?
No.
What about accused?
No.
Ever been a juror before?
No.
Anything about the nature of this case that makes you feel you would be able to be fair and impartial?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that is presented and wait in forming your opinion until the matter is ultimately given to you and your fellow jurors?
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Badge number?
382.
382, Miss Landy.
Yes, Jackie Landy.
All right. How long have you lived in Clark County?
3 years, but then prior 11 years. So I had a gap
You had
in
a gap.
between.
Where were you in the gap?
Medford, Oregon.
And how far did you go in school?
4 years of college.
And how are you employed?
I am somewhat self-employed. I'm a blogger, and I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, and your blogging, what is on the topic of?
Couponing.
All right. Let's see, married, divorced, single?
I'm married.
And what does your spouse do?
He's a safety director for a construction company here.
And how many children, if any?
I have a stepdaughter who is 22, and then we have 4 boys together. My twins are 14, and then I have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. Oh, well, actually, he just turned 7.
Okay, and I'm sorry, did you say all boys?
All boys. The younger is all boys.
All right, thank you. Victim, ever been a victim you or anyone close to, including crimes of sexual abuse?
No, just like minor break-in cars in the
Anything
neighborhood.
about that? First of all, were the police called for any of that?
One was a sting operation in our neighborhood. The police showed up and told me my car was broken into, so kind of. And then the other one, yes, they were called, but there was no major investigation.
Anything about that impact you in any way?
No,
Any other instances that I should know about being a victim you or anyone close to?
no.
What about the opposite, accused?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. My spouse pled guilty to burglary of a habitation in 1999.
Okay. Were you married then?
No.
Did you even know each other then?
Yes.
Okay. Any thoughts one way or the other about how your spouse was treated by the police, by the criminal justice system, anything like that?
No.
Do you think that would impact you in any way?
No, I do not.
Anybody else have been accused?
No.
Ever been a juror before?
No.
Anything about the nature of this case that you feel would impact you or prevent you from being fair and impartial?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that's presented in this case and wait in forming your ultimate opinion until the case is given to you?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate that. And how do I pronounce it?
Ukachi Ugorji,
Ugorji.
in 385.
And how long have you been in Clark County?
3 years.
Where were you before?
Georgia,
And how long were you in Georgia for?
my whole life.
Okay. Why did you move to Las Vegas?
For my job,
And how far did you go in school?
I have a doctorate in veterinary medicine.
So I would assume then that you're a veterinarian.
Yeah.
And so you've been a vet now for 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Married, single, divorced?
Single.
Any children?
No.
Ever been the victim of a crime, you or anyone close to you?
No.
What about accused of a crime?
No.
Ever been a juror before?
No.
Anything about what you've heard so far about this case impact you or make you feel like you would not be able to be fair or impartial?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence presented and wait in forming your opinion until the matter is ultimately submitted to you?
Yes.
All right, thank you, I appreciate that. Ms. Hardesty,
Hello.
badge number 386.
Yes.
All right, how long have you lived in Clark County?
2 years, 2 months.
And where before that?
Southern Utah, Cedar City, Utah for 13 years.
And why did you move to Las Vegas?
Better job opportunity.
How far did you go in school?
3 years university.
And what were you studying?
General studies.
And are you employed?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work at a business office at a car dealership.
Married, single?
Single.
Any children?
No children.
Ever been the victim of a crime?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that, please?
When I was 7, I was molested by one of my mother's friends.
Friends?
Hmm.
Did you tell your mom?
I did.
Did you tell her as soon as it happened?
I told her a little bit after it happened. There was multiple occasions of it.
Did it go on, would you say, like, for longer than a year?
No.
All right. But eventually you told your mom?
Yes.
And once you told your mom, was it reported to the police?
No.
Do you know why your mom didn't do that?
I don't think she believed me.
Did you ever tell a teacher or a counselor?
No. I told my dad later, but much later, like years after it happened.
Were your dad and your mom married?
No.
Once you told your dad, did he take any legal action?
No, because at that time it had been probably like 12. It was towards like the end of high school. Like it was a long time after it happened.
Okay. How do you feel about that? How do you feel that that you didn't get justice?
Well, I feel angry towards my mother for not listening to me.
Yeah. Do you ever? Is your mother still alive?
No.
Did you ever broach that topic with her as an adult?
No.
there anything about what you have gone through that you feel would impact you if you were a juror in this case?
Possibly.
Tell me a little bit more.
Well, I feel like I could be fair and honest, but at the same time, since I was molested as a child, I you know, I can kind of, I don't know, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's say if the alleged victims came in here, or if the alleged victim came in here, and started telling her story, and it didn't make sense to you, or the facts, you were like, this isn't sounding right to me. Do you think because of what happened to you, you would overlook that and give her the benefit of the doubt, or do you think that you would still be able to decide it as any other juror would be able to?
I would decide it based off the facts.
Okay. So, even though you've been through what you've been through, do you think that you can base your decision fully on what you hear and see within these four walls?
Yes.
Any other instances you or anyone close to you being a victim?
No. Well, actually, my dad was a victim as well from his brother when he was young.
Did your dad report it?
To his parents.
Did his parents do anything?
No. But my uncle continued to have problems with that and ended up in prison for child molestation.
Anything about that situation that you feel would impact you?
No, because I never knew him.
What about any other instances of being a victim?
No.
What about accused of a crime?
No.
Been a juror before?
No.
Anything about the nature of this case, other than what we've already discussed, that you feel would prevent you from being fair and impartial?
No.
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that's presented here in this courtroom, and then wait in informing your opinion until the matter is submitted to you?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Badge number, please.
391, Angela Pearson,
How long have you lived in Clark County?
since 94.
All right.
Can I make you aware of something really quick?
Yeah.
I talked to Dean. My technology reminded me of a doctor's appointment that my 10-year-old daughter has on Thursday morning at 7:50 for surgery on a broken arm. I thought it was the following Thursday, being the great mom I am.
When's the actual surgery?
This Thursday.
Oh, the surgery is this Thursday?
This Thursday. She broke it 3 spots.
Okay.
Hoverboard.
Okay, so the appointment's at 7:50, but that's actually like the pre-op. The surgery's gonna be that same day?
Yes.
Okay, all right, would you mind passing the, microphone?
All right, thanks.
Name and badge number?
Jessica Nerkonsky. Badge number is 455.
All right, and how long have you lived in Clark County?
I've been here the last 2 years. We moved in a fifth wheel, so it's 6 months here and 6 months in California. But I moved to Vegas in 1991.
So have you been doing that the whole
Past 2 years, yes,
Past
yes,
2 years.
traveling back and forth because I have family in both areas.
And where were you before then, before you did those 2 years like that?
Here in Vegas,
Okay.
in Henderson,
And how far did you go in school?
12th grade.
Are you employed?
Not right now, no.
And when you were employed the last time you were employed, what did you do?
I was a cook
Married, single,
in a relationship, engaged.
engaged?
Yeah.
What does that individual do?
He is a bartender.
Any children?
No,
Ever been the victim of a crime?
no,
Ever been accused of a crime?
no,
And that applies to you or anyone close to you?
no,
Okay. Ever been a juror before?
no,
Anything about the facts of this case that you feel would prevent you from being fair?
no,
Can you base your verdict solely on the evidence that you hear and see in the courtroom?
yes,
And can you wait in forming your opinion until the matter is submitted to you?
yes.
All right, thank you. Can I have your name and badge number?
Joshua Siren, 402, badge number.
All right, how long have you been in Clark County?
About 10 years.
And where were you at?
Philippines and England.
And how far did you go in school?
Bachelor's degree in business.
Are you employed?
I am self-employed. I'm a social media marketing.
Married?
No, I have a girlfriend.
And what is your girlfriend do?
She's a mechanic.
Any children?
No,
Have you ever been the victim of a crime or anyone close to you?
not me, but my girlfriend.
All right, can you tell me about what crime?
Domestic abuse. Not me.
And was that a one-time occurrence or a relationship full of it?
A relationship full of it.
Okay. And were the police ever called for that?
Yeah.
How do you feel like that situation was handled? If you know.
I don't, actually. It was before me.
Is there anything about that that you feel would affect your ability to be fair and impartial here?
No.
Okay.
A little, because I work a lot with kids. I go to the Shade Tree and I go to 3 Square, all those things, and a little bit, but I'm capable enough to not let it get to me.
Okay. I guess it really comes down to if you're able to focus really on, if you can 100% focus on just what's presented in this box of a room, and only base your verdict solely on the facts that you hear, testimony that you hear, things like that. Is that something you're capable of doing?
Yes.
All right. Any other instance where you've been a victim of a crime, you or anyone close to you?
Me? No. No.
What
that's it.
about accused?
No. I'm a great guy.
Have you ever been a juror before?
I have not.
Anything about the nature of this case that makes you feel you wouldn't be able to be fair and impartial to both sides?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And can you base your verdict solely, we talked about this, on the evidence that's presented in this case?
Yes.
And can you wait in forming your opinion until the matter's given to you to decide with your fellow jurors?
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Patricia Hagan, 449,
Thank you, Ms. Hagan. How long have you been in Clark County?
50 years,
How far did you go in school?
12th grade,
And are you employed or retired?
retired.
And what are you retired from?
I worked in a factory,
Are you married, single?
married.
What does your spouse do, or what did he do?
Well, he's retired, and he was a plumber.
Any children?
Yeah. I have 2, and my husband has 2.
All right, so your 2, are they male or female?
Both, one of each.
All right. And what do they do for a living?
My son works for AOL, and my daughter is kind of in between.
All right, and then your husband's 2, what do they do?
His son's in charge of something in Henderson, and his daughter's a teacher.
All right. Do you guys have any grandchildren?
Yes, 8.
8. And how many boys and how many girls?
Well, we've got 4 boys, 4 girls.
All right, and then just give me the age. What's the youngest and what's the oldest?
Well, the oldest is 24, and the youngest is 18.
Are any of them employed full-time?
Yeah.
What do they do?
I'm trying to think. Oh, no, they're not. Never mind. I'm just tired. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they're not employed?
No, no.
Okay, thank you. Have you ever been the victim of a crime, or has anyone close to you been the victim of a crime?
My daughter,
What type of crime was she a victim of?
domestic violence,
Was that a one-time thing or a long-standing thing?
a long thing.
Was it ever reported to the police?
Yes,
How do you feel like the police handled that situation?
not good.
What could they have done better in your opinion?
Well, when we called them, they never came.
On one occasion or more than one?
More than one.
Do you feel like that would affect you in any way in regards to this case?
I don't know. Might.
How might it?
I don't know. It's just hard to. It's hard.
Can you help me understand in what way?
Well, I think about seeing her get hurt and my grandkids, and it's hard not to think about it.
Okay, I'll let the parties follow up with questioning in regards to that when it comes time. Anybody else you know or yourself been a victim of a crime?
No.
What about accused of a crime?
Well, somebody I used to know, but I don't think we need to count him.
Okay. Well, what was he accused of?
He was the other side of the domestic violence,
Oh.
and he was robbery, drugs, all kinds of things.
Have you ever been a juror before?
No.
And is there anything about the nature of this case, what you've heard so far? I know you've heard just a very little. Anything about that that makes you feel like you wouldn't be able to be fair?
Possibly.
And why is that?
I don't know. It's just a touchy subject with me, and I'm not sure why. I don't mean to be that way, but
All
just
right.
being honest.
Sure. All right, I'll let the parties follow up on that. Would you mind passing it over to the juror next to you, please?
Grant Nebeker, 404.
And how long have you been in Clark County, sir?
All my life, 26 years.
And how far did you go in school?
12th grade.
Did I already ask, are you employed? Did we already go through that? No.
No. No, yeah, I work for the school district in the transportation department.
Married, single, divorced?
Single.
Any children?
No.
Ever been the victim of a crime or anyone close to you been the victim of a crime?
Just burglarized the car, but nothing too much.
Did you report it to the police?
Yeah.
Okay, were they able to catch anybody?
No.
Do you feel like they could have done more?
No, there was not much we could do.
All right, anything about that bothered you in any way?
No.
Or makes you feel like you wouldn't be able to be fair?
No.
All right, any other instances that I should be aware of?
I have an aunt and a cousin that got busted together trafficking drugs, so they're locked up. And then when I was a kid, I know my grandfather got locked up for something with one of my cousins. There was a female.
Okay. Is there anything about those instances where you feel like they were treated fairly, or either by the police or by the criminal justice system?
No.
Anything that would impact you in any way?
No.
Ever been a juror before?
No.
Anything about the nature of this case that makes you feel like you wouldn't be able to be fair and impartial to both sides?
No.
And you base your verdict solely on the evidence that's presented here in this case?
Yes.
And can you wait in forming your opinion until the matter is ultimately submitted to you?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's a couple minutes after